Hey everybody, welcome to another action figure review. This is Marvel Legends edition, and as you can see, we're going to be taking a look at the Blob, one of the members of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. And the Blob is also a deluxe figure from the Marvel Legends line, and kind of more like a super deluxe figure. He originally was released earlier this year, but I only just now got him because I was waiting for a price drop. The Blob wasn't really one of the figures that I was like desperate to get a hold of, so I decided to play the long game. And I'm glad I did. I managed to get mine for half his original price. He's $49.99 over here, so I got him for about $24.99, the price of a normal Marvel Legends figure, so that's good. Like I said, he was released earlier this year, and it's a really good looking figure, to be honest. I didn't have the original, so there's no comparison shots. I don't have any comparison shots to show, but I would urge you to look those up online. I believe the original Blob was a Build-A-Figure figure. So this one's a little bit sturdier since he doesn't have pieces that you pop in yourself. These are pieces that were built in and designed this way. But anyway, let's put Blob to the side and take a look at the box first. And he's a big boy, so it's a big box. And we're still in the plastic-free packaging wave for the Marvel Legends, since this came out earlier this year. And they hadn't switched back to plastic packaging yet. But there's a nice, like, comic book page artwork in the background, and then a picture of the figure on the front. You got Marvel's Blob, Marvel Legends series. And of course, this is part of the 60th anniversary of the X-Men wave, so you got that on the top there, this Marvel 60 X-Men years, X-Men there, logo on the bottom, and of course legalese on the bottom. On this side, you get another shot of the figure, and on this side, you get another picture of the artwork. I don't know if this is taken from a comic book or just drawn specifically for the box, but there you have him. And then on the back, you get another shot of the figure. And this one includes everything he comes with. 2 fists, 2 kind of open hands, and then 2 heads. And as you can see, he's 8.34 inches, so he's a big boy. And more legalese on the bottom. So, out of the package, the Blob comes with one of his gripping hands and one of the fists, but I put both the fists on because it looks, makes more sense to be more symmetrical in that regard. So here we have Fred Dukes, the Blob, and his mutant power is he can control gravitational field surrounding him, which makes him completely immovable if he wants to be. He's also extremely durable. He can resist slashing weapons and piercing weapons on his skin, and he can even absorb bullets and fire them back. So if like someone shot him with a bullet, it would just go right into the blubber and then fly back towards the person who fired it. Something like that. Now, despite the fact that he's basically immovable, he only controls the gravity like around himself. So if he's on something that can be moved, then you can move him. For instance, if he were to be, standing his ground and the Juggernaut charged at him and hit him head on, and for those who don't know, the Juggernaut's special power is he can't be stopped once he starts moving. So you're basically looking at the irresistible force hitting the immovable object. But what would happen though is the ground that the blob is standing on, because the Juggernaut can't be stopped, the Juggernaut would hit him, and it wouldn't move him, but it would rip the ground that he's standing on out. So, and thus knocking him over. So the Juggernaut would win that battle. He's also exceptionally strong. He can lift like several tons or whatnot. I'm not sure exactly what his strength level is. It's not on the same level as Hulk or the aforementioned Juggernaut, but he's still pretty strong. Stronger than average. So as you can see, there really isn't much to him costume-wise. He's got this blue spandex costume with a couple of wristbands and these blue boots. And there's yellow trim along it all. Like yellow trim on the top of the boots, on the top and bottom of the wristbands, right around the waist, and on the shoulders here. He's got a pretty good looking head sculpt. Got some character in there. And the hair's got a nice wash to it to bring out the detail. Of course, with a figure like this, you're not going to get a lot of articulation or movement, just because of the sheer size of everything. But, speaking of which, let's take a look, because there's really not much more to say about the costume. He does have splotches all along the paintwork there, and you can see some on his face, on his arms, and on his legs there. I don't know what that is supposed to be. I don't know if those are supposed to be like freckles or something related to his obesity. I have no clue. So yeah, that's the Blob. Going over articulation, he can look up pretty well, actually, for such a big guy. And he can get some good down articulation on his neck. He can kind of do the Exorcists, but no, he can't really do the Exorcist, because if you try, he just pops the head off, so no. He can't spin all the way around. But he does get some good tilt there. His arms do go all the way around. And he can get about 90 degrees. Maybe a little less than 90. Maybe more like a 88 or 89 or something. Close enough. You can get that out of the arm. He's got no bicep cut. He has only a single joint on his arm, but it is pinless, and he can swivel it in and out. I don't think a double joint would have made a difference because of the size of his upper arm, but it is cut pretty deep, so you can get a good bend out of it, as you can see there. You can get like more than 90 degrees out of it. Actually, maybe just add 90 degrees. He does have a horizontal peg at the wrist on both hands. He doesn't need an up-down trigger type hinge because he doesn't have guns. He never uses guns, as far as I'm aware. His only waist articulation, and this is a solid figure, I'll say that. He's really heavy, so this is pretty thick plastic, pretty thick solid plastic here. He has no twist at all at the waist. The only articulation you're going to get from the torso is up here at his man boobs. And He can move. Let me put that down so you can see it better. He can move forward about that far. And you can slide him back about that far. So he does have some tilt on the upper part of his torso there. But that's it. That's all you're going to get from him. From the torso. Because there's too much torso. There's just way too much torso here. He's not a classified figure, so he doesn't have drop-down hips. But he can spread his legs out pretty well for such a big guy. And he can kick up about that far. And he can kick back about that far. He does have a thigh cut. Again, he's got the single joints at the knees, but we can hinge them in and out. Okay, you can't hinge them in and out. It's just the thigh cut that moves. I thought you could hinge them in and out. No, okay. Yeah, just the thigh cut that moves. He's got the single jointed, but they're pinless. He can't even get him 90 because of the thigh, all the fat from the thigh. So not a lot of articulation in the leg there. He does not have a boot cut. But he can hinge his foot back that far, which is pretty good. And that far forward, which is pretty good too. He does have that rocker action. And he's got little tiny pinprick holes in the bottom of his foot for, or his feet for stands. Now, since he only has, he's not known for using weapons. He basically just picks up whatever is nearby and throws it at people or just punches them. So he's got these fists. He's got a pair of fists that he comes with. And he also has a pair of gripping hands. One closed a little bit more than the other. This one's more splayed out. Well, that one's more closed in. So you can get different poses out of him if you wish. This one looks more like you could kind of put another figure's arm or maybe squeeze his thumb around their neck or something, have him lift them up in the air. You could have him do that. His other accessory, and trying to exorcist spin his head off is the best way to get the head to pop off the neck joint. So, because otherwise it doesn't come off very easily. He does have an alternate head sculpt, which is a yelling face. And this one's pretty well sculpted as well. You can see a lot of detail went into there. You can look into his mouth and see all his teeth on the upper jaw and on the lower jaw. And of course the tongue itself is also nicely painted in there. So that looks pretty good. In fact, let's see if I can get the light down into his mouth better. Yeah, you can see it. Pretty well painted in there. So that is good. One of the good things about these deluxe figures is they do go all out. And they're charging you enough, and that's the least they can do. But they definitely go harder with the paint apps than the normal figures, so that's good. So, there's the Blob. Definitely a good addition to the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants shelf, if you've got one. You can put them with the Toad especially. They were paired often in the comics. And if you have Avalanche, I think he paired up with Blob as well. So did Unus, but I don't think they've created Unus yet. I don't think they've made or released him yet. So, Unus the Untouchable. Still waiting for him. But otherwise, yeah, he's a good Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Or, I think he was on Freedom Force as well. There's another mutant superhero villain team that he was a part of at one point. But if you didn't get the original Build-A-Figure Blob, or you're looking to upgrade, because he is, from what I've seen on other videos, he is definitely an upgrade over that old Build-A-Figure mold. This is definitely a good figure to pick up. He might be sold out, because he's been out for almost a year now. But if you're lucky, you can get him on clearance, as people are starting to get rid of their 2023 stock to make room for 2024. Which is what I did. I got him half price, like I mentioned earlier. So if you can get him for 30 or less, I would definitely pull the trigger easily. And even if you can't, I would get him anyway, because we likely won't be seeing another Blob figure for a long while. It's just not a mold you can reuse, and even though they have the mold now, they're not going to release him again so soon. So they may revisit him years down the line. Or if he's in the X-Men 97 show that they're doing now, they might reuse the mold and just update it a bit to make him match his 97 look. But I wouldn't risk it, you know. I mean, I thought I was risking it enough playing the waiting game on this one, because like all the major websites that I usually do my action figure shopping on over here in the UK were sold out of them. It was just like one or two that had left that had them, and then one of them put them up for half price, so I grabbed them immediately. I was like, yes, and it's sold out there now, so I definitely got there just in time. Definitely a good deal at $24.99. So, give me a like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think of this Blob figure. And I will catch you next time.